Hi guys, it's Tina. I found a recipe on Facebook. Well, actually not a recipe, a product, a commercial product, and I thought I'd like to duplicate it. And what it was called, let's see here, sorry, I hate looking down at you, but it's the Organic Sunshine brand whole food plant-based burgers. I was really impressed. It's all organic, non-GMO, no wonky ingredients, all natural ingredients. All organic. The problem was that there's sea salt in it. No sugar, no oil, but some salt. Now the ingredients were organic brown rice, organic sunflower seeds, organic carrots, organic chives, and of course the sea salt. Now, I'm going to do this without salt. And so you're going to say, well, Tina, if you're so impressed, why don't you just go buy them? Well, because they're only available at Whole Foods, and I live in a really rural area, and it takes me 45 minutes just to drive to the nearest Whole Foods. Then my shopping, then the drive back. And if I had a day trip, that would be perfect, but lots of snow on the ground right now, lots of icy roads, and Tina doesn't want to do that, okay? So let's try to duplicate it, okay? Now, I did not have any brown rice on hand, but I did have quinoa. So let's start with some quinoa. My ingredients are not organic. And don't feel that you always have to use organic. If you've got it, great. If you don't, do the best you can, okay? So, I've never tried this before. I'm just winging it, and you'll be here to watch. So what I've got is 2 cups of quinoa that I cooked this morning in my little Instant Pot. And then it calls for carrots and sunflower seeds and chives. So I'm put a little bit of water in my NutriBullet. And I soaked the sunflower seeds this morning, probably for at least an hour to plump them up and help them grind. And then I cooked 3 carrots, good sized carrots, until they were soft. You saw how that just came apart there. And then I'm going to grind this all up here in this NutriBullet. And hopefully that's enough water, and if not, we'll add some more. So pardon the noise. And it's not enough water. So we're going to need some more. Get this where it'll go. Because I sure don't want to burn up my NutriBullet. That's just not going to work very well. All right, guys. Let's see. It's got to have enough water to be able to blend. Guess if I'd got my Vitamix out, it might have done better, but I don't want to use my Vitamix for such a small little amount. So we now have success. So you saw what I did. That was probably a good half a cup of water. So if you're doing this at home with your NutriBullet, add a half cup water to that. Even though the ingredients list did not say there was water, I'm going to assume that, like a lot of companies, they don't always say they add water. they just kind of take that for granted or use it as a non-ingredient, but it's necessary to grind. And that came out pretty smooth. Get as much of it out as you can, because we don't want to waste. Those of us who lived through the Depression in another life, we don't like to waste. There we are. Now let's get that good and mixed around and see if 2 cups is even going to be enough quinoa. And if it isn't, then I've got some more over there, and I can always add it in. Now, it did not say any other spices other than the chives and the sea salt, but since I'm not adding sea salt, I'm going to add some garlic powder, okay? And I'd say about a teaspoon of garlic powder. And then let's do about a tablespoon of chives. And this is pretty soft looking. I don't think this is going to make burgers. Let's get some more quinoa. Okay. And this is just quinoa that I made this morning. Break it up real good. We'll add another cup. See what that does. Don't you like creating recipes with me? Isn't this fun? Okay, much better. Yeah, that's pretty thick. Let's go with that. Okay, so now we have 3 cups of quinoa, 3 carrots, and 1 cup of sunflower seeds. Okay? Then 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 tablespoon of chives. And then we're going to put these on the silicone mat, because we don't like parchment paper. That isn't good for the environment. And then I'm going to form patties with this. And I want them to be pretty good size. And I want them to be pretty thick. Because if you put your mixture too thin, then you end up with a dry, crumbly patty that will fall apart when you try to reheat it or even put it on a sandwich cold. So you want it to be fairly thick. And having never tried this before, I'm going to start out with just 2 patties. And we'll see how that comes. See how thick those are? They're about the same size. So I'm going to bake these 375, 20 minutes, pull them out, let them cool completely, flip them over and do another 15. That's always my secret to good patties that stay together. I'll let you know what happens. Now, my husband has expressed a desire for vital wheat gluten in his patties, and I'll explain why. It seems to make them denser and hold together better, just a better overall texture. Vital wheat gluten isn't 100% whole food plant based, okay? So when I did the first 2 patties, I did them exactly like that commercial box said, that's what their ingredients was. Now I'm going to take some of this batter, the rest of this batter, and I'm going to add some vital wheat gluten. You don't have to do that. If you want to stay with the original recipe and keep it whole food plant-based, do that. If you don't care to have just a little bit of wheat or a little bit of processed, not highly processed, but processed food, then try this with me. And I want to see the difference, and that's why I'm doing this separate. And again, my husband prefers them this way. So I'm going to add a half a cup of vital wheat gluten. Now, when you add the vital wheat gluten to a patty, keep your mixture real wet like this was, and then just stir it in there, and you will start to see kind of a stringy texture. And that's the gluten activating. And it takes a little bit of stirring around and for the moisture to absorb in there to activate that gluten for that to happen. So what I like to do is stir that up, mix that around in there, and then let it sit. And I'll let it sit here in the bowl for about 10 minutes. Look at the texture of that. Now that's probably going to make a patty that he will like a lot more. And it's his lunch. He should like it, right? So I'm going to let this sit for a good 10 minutes or so. And then when those first two patties come out, I'll put these in. And I'll show you at the end the difference and we'll compare them. All right? All right, they are out of the oven. And I want to show you the difference. These front ones here are the whole wheat plant-based, the first batch we did. The ones in the back are the ones that I added a little vital wheat gluten for my husband because that's how he prefers it. Now the first batch was a little wet at my normal cooking time, so I had to do it another 20 minutes. So 20, flip 15, flip again, and then another 20. The second batch was the 2015. And they cooked about the same. These look a little more crispy on the outside, but other than that, on the outside they look the same. So if you're going to do them whole food plant-based without that vital wheat gluten, give a little extra cooking time. Let's open them up and see if there's any difference. Okay. This whole food plant-based vital wheat gluten. I don't see any difference. Tastes all right. A little plain for me. I think I'd rather add a little more spices. Basically the same. This one, the vital wheat gluten, seems, yeah, exactly. And that's the problem my husband had. Do you see what happened there? He puts this on a sandwich and they kind of crumble and fall apart. And this is the vital wheat gluten. See how that's holding together when I pick it up? And this one didn't. All right. So if you're going to eat them right away and you want to be whole food plant-based, go with the first recipe, and that's fine if they crumble. If you're going to pack them up in a sandwich and tug them off to work, put the vital wheat gluten in because it's going to hold together better in your sandwich and not crumble and fall apart. Sorry for the noise, guys. Dogs are going a little crazy. All right, so there's our test kitchen for today. Have a good day.